Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Father Talks podcast. We have got a good show for you. If you are somebody in a relationship, and you are missing each other on a one-way road, I've got a guest for you today, Miss Joanna Shakti. Joanne is the true love mentor and is the founder of Ecstatic Intimacy, excuse me. Uh, Joanne, hey, welcome to the show. I am excited to have you here. I have got a mountain of questions from people I talk to on a regular basis, and we need some answers.
Would love to bring whatever answers I can. And I want to thank you, Michael, one, for hosting, and two, for being an advocate for this conversation for men
Yes.
and their relationships and their lives and who they are. So looking forward to it.
Well, I'm excited. Listen, I don't embarrass easy. I mean, whatever you got to say. I mean, hey, say it however you want to. I don't filter my guests in any way, shape, or form. So whatever's on your mind, please share. Uh, us guys, we need some help. We need to we need to do a better job understanding our female partners, the ladies that we interact with on a regular basis, because some of us are missing the boat.
And not intentionally.
No,
And
no,
I
absolutely.
also want to say, like, a lot of kudos to men who really want to have solid relationships, to show up as great men. And they face some challenges and they have some blind spots. So
Yes.
let's play.
Yes. You know, Here's the thing is that most of us, the guys that I grew up, my generation, I'm 52. Those group of guys, you know what? We grew up sitting around, looking at porn. We found new magazines and whatnot, and we thought that was reality. And it is not. It is not.
Far from it.
Yes. Yes. I can tell you, I've been active for a long time, and I can tell you none of my experiences have been what, you know, Dave, the plumber came in, never anything like that. Nothing. We need to get slightly more educated on, the needs of our female, of our partners. Plain and simple.
And of yourselves. Like, and it's because it's a two-way street. And how,
Fair.
yeah, and like, there's a way that I find that men are really associated with their needs, but then there's certain other needs, more emotional, the softer side of needs,
Yes.
that I think a lot of men also deny.
Right. Well, we've never been allowed to really express ourselves, so we're happy, mad, or horny. That's it. Those are the only things that we get to express on a regular basis. Happiness, is widely acceptable. Anger is, you know, well, he's always mad about something. And horny is just, hey, it's Tuesday. So that's it.
Yes, and there's such a bigger realm, and that's what I love spending time with men, and I work mostly in co-ed circles and
Okay.
spaces, but the places of being able to work with the men in the space, being able to work with the women in the space so that we can see and understand and appreciate the differences and the truth of ourselves, to be able to share that, so that where we were missing, we start connecting. Where we were frustrated, we can come to appreciation, because the things that irritate us about each other are also often the things that we love about each other.
Right. Here's the thing too, is that I don't find that we're honest with each other about our needs. Okay. Or if we are honest, we we don't approach talking about it in a way that, that we're being heard. So I'll use an example. So I've got a guy friend. Him and his wife have been together, oh my God, 20 some odd years, I think. And they have not been in a sexual relationship for close to 5 years. They're just roommates raising kids. And I don't understand. I'm like, bro, he was like, she just don't like me. But are you really being the same guy that you were when you guys first got married? Are you approaching it the same way? Because, right now you're the guy, you're asking nicely and, and that's not the person that she married, you know, or you're trying to make a, hey, you want to hook up on Friday? No, she doesn't. Nobody wants to plan it, you know?
Although that works for some couples, I will say it does work for some couples,
Okay.
but it's not.
Nobody I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not the optimal by any means, but planning it in some cases, certain stages of life, kids,
Right.
that to say, we can count on it on Sunday morning or Friday night and there's still obviously we have to be in the moment. But even then, ideally none of us want to plan it, but sometimes that can at least move us in that direction. And I know, like I'm always leaning towards spontaneity, but if we can't get to spontaneity,
Right.
then how can we create the spaces that are actually in service to both people, where both people are looking forward to it? Because too often it becomes a chore
Right.
for the feminine,
Yes.
and that
I
never
have heard
creates
that. I have
good.
heard that one. Yeah, I
Yes.
have heard that one a lot. Well, like hanging out in couple circles and whatnot. And sometimes, it's just a joke, but you will hear, I'll hear my couple friends arguing, going back and forth, picking at each other. And she'll be like, well, what's the point of me giving you any? It's going to be, 3 minutes of my life that I could be doing something else. I'm like, oh my God, no, you
Yeah.
know, and wow, I get, I get that it's a playful jab, but that sometimes there's some seriousness behind it. You God, I know, I know that as men, the less you get it, the faster it's over. When you do. Okay, okay, let me back up a little bit. For men, I know that sex is our way of connecting, of expressing, hey, how we feel about you. We feel closer to you through touch. If you walk up to me and give me a hug for no reason and whatnot, you know, every man is most of the time will be shocked and but will not admit how much they love that, just to
Yeah.
get a hug and a kiss for no reason. So we connect through sex and women connect, they need more to make that connection.
Yes.
So in order to be ready for sex, they need that emotional connection, you
Yes.
know, so and most of the guys have gotten to a point where like, bro, I gotta go through all this just,
Yep.
once a week. I'm like,
Yep.
well, you did it when you
And
first got married.
oh, by the way, if you were not just waiting until the moment before and you actually had a connected relationship,
Right.
she might actually be interested more often. So, to your point, men tend to get to their emotional connection through their physical connection. Women get to their physical connection through their emotional connection.
Exactly.
The cosmic joke and the greatest gift. I know it's the cosmic joke, but it's the truth. We can get mad and guys, why do I have to connect? And let's just be physical. And it doesn't matter if we just had a fight and it doesn't matter if we haven't cuddled in a week or a month. And I, I crave that physical connection, but she can't show up and her body doesn't work
Exactly.
in the absence of.
And so like I've tried to even tell guys like, listen, if your wife tells you her back hurts, okay, don't jump the rubber back because you think it's your opening to get some. You know what? Rub her back, do it because you care, and just leave her the hell alone. You know, if you do that a few times and don't expect anything in return, I find that the wife is always more willing, to do something for you because you've done something for her that you didn't expect anything in return. You just did it because you cared, you know?
If we are doing tit for tat in relationship,
Yes,
we will never
yes,
sustain the connection or the joy or the pleasure. Like, it's impossible. Expectations, as one of my mentors said many, many years ago, expectations are a direct ticket to hell.
yes. So
They'll never set us up to have true connection. And so there's a generosity of connecting with her heart There's a generosity of realizing that if she feels close, then she's going to have more of a desire to open her body.
Right.
If she feels supported, she's gonna feel more of that. But when she's carrying task after task after task, and then sex just becomes another task,
Right.
it's not inspired on
All right, fellas, you guys hear that? Okay, it requires a little work. We did it. You did it when you first got together. All those long dinners, taking your sweet time. It requires a little bit of work.
it requires a little bit of work, but it's interesting that I would offer that the work pays massive dividends.
Yes.
And it's not just sexual, it's the quality of the relationship. It's the forgiveness when the little shit blows up, because it will. We all screw up, we all do things, we all forget things, we all go unconscious. And another piece that gets in the way of, talking about your friend, the couple that, it's been 5 years, not only is he potentially not showing up in the same way, but what's happened between them. One of the biggest killers of libido and sexual desire is unresolved conflict.
Yes.
And
And
so
there's
if they
quite a bit of
haven't,
conflict.
yeah, go ahead.
There is quite a bit of conflict. That's I don't want to get into too much detail because without somebody hearing this and it spilling the beans.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. But it's a lot of conflict. She has some insecurities. She says things to him. He says things to her. You know, they genuinely love each other. I believe that. But their internal conflicts have really just pushed. It's it's like the couple who sleeps in different rooms. You know, yeah, we're here for a common goal to raise a family, but we're essentially roommates.
Yes, and so the roommate zone, we're good friends, but we're not lovers.
Right.
We're great, we do life, but we're roommates. Those relationships don't have the juice, the life force, and there's often self-abandonment that's been at play,
Hmm.
where she or he's been the people pleaser, where if there's insecurity at play for any person, we will tend to do the things that we think will get us to be loved. We'll get love, we'll keep love, but we're losing ourselves in the process.
Mm.
And eventually resentment shows up. We say it's okay when it's not okay, and we shove the problems under the rug. That never works. And there can be masculine feminine dynamics of the lead, the follow, the initiate, the pursued and the pursuer. And if those energy dynamics get off, it will also neuter or neutralize sexual energy. So there's a whole stack of things that are potentially contributing to the friend and roommate zone situation.
Right. So, all right, let's think of another situation. Okay. Another acquaintance, my longtime friend. Okay. 15 years in a relationship. Okay. Where she was not honest in the relationship. They've got kids together, and she was not getting hers. But they had been together so long and she had such I guess, a lack of understanding about the relationship dynamics. And she just assumed that she, I mean, didn't. Then she finally meets somebody, after her and her ex split up. She's getting them all the time. This guy's emotionally unavailable for her. And she's finally getting the sexual aspect of her relationship, but not the emotional part of her relationship because she spent so much time in a relationship that she was basically ta- the mom, taking care of the kids, taking care of his needs, but never addressing her own needs. So, what do we say to that woman or in that situation?
Yeah. So this is where partnership, that
Okay.
a lot of people forget about this idea of partnership. And there's a lot of contributing factors to this.
Okay.
But in our world, there we have it's like I'm pulling on, 20 years of like, well, which pieces do I want to pull in here to really name this? But let's let's call it the strong, independent woman persona, and those particularly professional women, and or that have a lot of things that they're accomplishing. When it comes to quote getting shit done, that's a
Yes.
more masculine energy.
Right.
And it's about results. It's about the linear approach to things. Feminine sexuality is actually expressive, it's sensual, it's felt, it's
Yes.
experienced. So when a woman spends a lot of time in that strong, independent woman, she's tracking everything. She's taking care of the kids, she's taking care of him. It's moving her out of, in many cases, this is not 100%, but in many cases, it's moving her out of her core energy. She loses her receiving. Her receiving muscles get weak, and she can't take in. She gets better at doing and giving than receiving.
I see a lot of women like that.
Yes. So here's the counterpart, though,
Okay.
is that she says, I got it, I got it, I got it, I got it. He goes, okay. And then she's pissed off because he's not showing up.
Right. Okay.
And on some level, she said, I got it. So we have to name that. But the masculine partner holds a special place of energetic presence
Hmm.
and contribution. And so if she's doing it all, there's no way that she's going to open to this one who hasn't been showing up, even though she said she got it, because she
Right.
doesn't
Okay.
ultimately.
We fellas, we have some work to do. There is a lot. There's a lot to unpack there because holy shit. Okay, so you're telling me you have it, but real. Okay, so for me,
Yep.
I can only use me as an example. Okay, so in my household, there are certain things that my wife can do whatever she wants to. Okay, and I feel that in every relationship that I've ever been in, I'm cool with a strong woman, wanting to do whatever she wants to, but it's an option. So if you want to take out the trash, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But if it's not something you want to do, don't do it. I'll do it. You know, I'm the chef in the house. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So I've never been in a relationship where I've met any woman that could cook better than me. You know, but
Awesome.
but I grew up. So both my parents work. And my mom was very big on raising strong, independent boys that didn't need a housewife.
Hmm.
So
Kudos
for
to mom.
yeah, so for me, I've always needed a partner in things, and it took me a huge portion of my life to find a partner where, hey, we we always met in the middle on things. Or if one of us, had a bad day, hey, I'll pick up the slack. I got you. You know, and because of that, I think like how do I want to explain this? Okay, so like I said, I've always searched for a strong partner, and in everything that I do. Finally meeting somebody, raise a family together, all that. How do we how do we get men on board? How do we get, other people in the same circle? A lot of us don't want a woman to take care of us. We just want somebody to be a partner, at least the people that I deal with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And female friends, same deal. You know what? I want to be a contributor in everything that, my significant other does, but I don't want to have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to always have to be his support system. I don't want to always have to be, her financial support, or I want us to be a team, you know, and in that way, like sexually, that to me, a woman who can bring it to the table and like, hey, I got you. You know what? That is to me, that is some sexy shit. You know,
Yeah.
a woman that I can sit down and have a long conversation with, like I can be looking at you and thinking about, what you're wearing underneath that, but we are having the deepest conversation that I can wait because I am in love with the conversation we're having. You know, we're sitting around, we're having drinks, maybe we're sitting by the fire, you know, that to me, that is the ultimate. And again, for me, that is woman incarnate, that is super sexy. A woman that I can hold a conversation with.
Yeah.
You could be a 5, but hold a great conversation. That makes you a 10. and looks only go so far. And I think a lot of men, we get wrapped around, looks only, and we can't talk to our significant other about anything.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
and
that. I rambled there for a minute, guys. Sorry, it's
no,
my
well, and there's as you said, Michael, there's so much nuance to this.
yes,
And what you're describing is there's a beautiful connection there, and most women who have a predominant feminine energy are also turned on by good conversation.
yes,
And so there is that meeting in it. The interesting part where I was talking about if she's doing it all, there's one of the core needs for a woman in relationship is to feel valued. And feeling valued means that she feels valued and appreciated for the contributions that she makes to the relationship, including the family if there's a family.
yes.
So all of the things that she does, she needs to feel that appreciation. And when she becomes a human doing and she's not feeling that value, she's not feeling seen in that contribution, she starts to pull away. Another need that she has is to feel cherished. And
Mm,
feeling cherished means that she feels as if, and I'm going to underline the word feels as much as I can do that verbally, she feels as if she's number one. Now, for most masculine beings, purpose, mission is actually their top priority. You can still have the experience, the feeling of being top priority. And sometimes that's just the quality of the conversation that happens in the middle of the day, or it's the way that he meets her and makes sure her needs are met in the evening. But there's lots of different ways that each woman uniquely feels cherished and valued. But it's these qualities where she feels seen as a whole being. And as a whole being, when she's seen as the woman she is, not just a form, not just a body, she's going to feel more of that connection and that attraction. But what about the times when she says, I got it? And you go, okay. And it's that, noticing the places where she's carrying a lot of the load and showing up and saying, I got this tonight, babe. You're off. This weekend, you are off. And I'm talking a little bit traditional gender roles right now, and I don't mean to imply them as traditional roles. What I stand for with every individual and couple that I work with is that they discover the true energy that is authentic, the true constitution. And some of us want to be asked out, and that's more hot than us asking out. Some of us want to be against the wall in a hot, steamy kiss most of the time, and some of us want to be facing the wall some of the time. It's getting to know those energies and acknowledging that they're true, and then recognizing how we support that and we dance in that, which keeps the chemistry and the attraction alive.
Okay. So, all right, let me ask you a question. What are men, particularly like, okay, so we get upset, when our significant other pulls away. What do men what are we misunderstanding? Because we
Mhm.
always listen, we take it personal and, I understand why you would take it personal, but what are we missing in that?
Yeah, it depends on I wish I could give you 100% of an answer,
I'll take 50 at
but
this point.
it
I'm
the
understanding.
the key is, 1, caring that she
Mhm,
pulled away, because she's gonna go, "I'm fine,"
mhm,
and she's usually not fine. If a guy says, "I'm fine," he tends to be true in that. When she says, "I'm fine," it's usually a cover up. So
right,
leaning in, you pulled away, and she wants to know you care. And one of the things that the feminine most wants is to be seen and felt. When she communicates, she's looking to feel something. She's looking to have an experience, and often in her partnership, an experience of connection. So
okay.
if she's pulling away, she likely felt missed, heard, not
Oh,
gotten.
okay,
And this is actually the hard part for a lot of men. It's really a skill for them to develop, is that she's wanting to be gotten on an experiential and an emotional level.
Okay. So, all right, I'm gonna follow that up with most, and I know I've been here before. Why don't you just tell me what's wrong so we can, instead of me dancing around, you
Right,
know, because I'm not a mind reader.
right.
Tell me what's wrong, and so I can help. Either maybe if you need a hug, hey, I got big arms. I hug you all day. Okay, but instead of you making me guess, you know, just tell me what's up, and we can fix it or work through it.
Yeah, okay, so here's let's play with this. Because the masculine just went in to solve the problem. She's now become the target of that problem solving.
Okay,
She's not her emotional being and her experience isn't being met.
right,
So instead, I'm right here.
yeah.
I'm
See,
right
but
here.
by design, men are fixers.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
fixers and protectors, and we
Yes.
listen, we want to protect you from anything that's bothering you or anybody who might hurt you. We want to fix any problem, and we and I again, me, you know, I am a fixer, big time, you know, because I'm
You
not
can't fix
overly
her emotions.
right, and
You
but
can't
and
fix
that's the
her
thing.
emotions.
And I think I've run into this more with my daughters because sometimes they need a hug, and if they needed a hug, and I cannot sit and seeing my little girl crying and this, that, and other thing. So I go into dad mode. I'm like, baby, hey, what's wrong? What can I do? And again, I'm learning, as I've gotten a bit older, that hey, she needed a hug, or
She
she
needs a
needed
place to
just a
cry.
yeah, she just needed a minute to, for us to be emotional together. And unfortunately for me, it's just something I was just never taught, you know?
I know. I
And
know.
so we butt heads quite a bit because, I wasn't always emotionally available. And it's not that I'm not available. I just like, for instance, I don't cry, you know? Why? Because I was always taught that it was a bad thing for a man to be crying,
Yeah.
you know?
And here's the thing though, Michael. Emotions are the language of intimacy.
Yes.
Emotions are the language of the feminine. And so I'm not saying you need to cry. Although I actually, one of the, creating a space where it's actually safe again for a man to cry and to feel his heart and to be moved in the most tender ways is really extraordinary and it really deepens connection.
Right. So you say that. And again, I listen to the ladies talk intently because, no, excuse me, because I've always wanted to know, I always wanted to be that guy, and especially in a relationship that, I was always making sure I did the right thing. And
Hmm.
I listen to my female friends talk like, yeah, I want a man who can be emotional and, I want him to be, if something's bothering him, I want him to be able to cry. Pause. Then but he can't cry too much because, I can't have no soft ass man. What? So
So when
so
I
I
said
get
early
I
on,
get
and
I get 6 tears
yep,
and that's it, gotta cut it off.
count them out. And this is actually when I said it's complicated in the beginning of the conversation, and that I said, I also stand up for men because they faced some of these mixed communication.
Right.
And okay, so what does that mean? How do I do that? And it's really an important conversation because you pointed out, like you were really conditioned, men don't cry. It's like, unless you got something absolutely massive, pull it together, get over it, man up, all that shit.
Yes.
And it denies your heart. It denies the inner center that actually is tender, is vulnerable. So the
Yes.
first piece is that men actually have to start to begin becoming comfortable with the fact that it's okay to cry, that it's
Okay.
okay to feel. That's over in a man's realm.
Okay. That's fair.
Then, because of masculine feminine polarity,
Okay.
which we haven't fully gotten into yet, but it's like the two poles of a magnet. The opposite sides attract, or electricity flows from one pole to the other. opposite energies. So that flow of attraction is actually opposite energies. And in this case, masculine is opposite to feminine. Masculine is the assertive, penetrating, decisive, focused energy.
Okay.
Feminine is the expressive, creative, receptive, vulnerable, sensual energy. Those energies attract one another. So the emotional realm for all of us is a more yin or feminine energy. We all have it. It's been conditioned out of a lot of men who have a predominant masculine energy, but they've, closed that off. Don't be too sensitive. Don't be um, too emotional. Don't get too soft. Don't, all of that. But if you can't open your heart, you can't experience the deepest of connections with the feminine. So here's the key that is at the root of it is that there's a centeredness with the masculine. That if they keep that centeredness and they bring those tears, it's fucking hot. Excuse my language.
Guys,
It's
it's
like
hot. It's
it's
hot, guys.
hot. It's hot. Like if that center, the ground, the roots exists, and there's an expression of what he's feeling without making her responsible for it. That's another piece of it. If he makes her responsible to fix those feelings or be too big of a container,
Mhm.
then she's actually going to get turned off. So there's a sweet spot in it, and it's really about keeping that ground. I'll give you an example. 30 years ago, back in corporate, I was dating a guy that lived in the UK, I think. So overseas, long distance relationship. Now I traveled to the UK on business on a reasonably regular basis, but we would travel back and forth. And when he would go to pack his suitcase, there were times that he would get so frustrated with that suitcase that he would cry. And that was a turnoff.
Ugh.
Because he couldn't the energy that I experienced in a feminine body was he doesn't have it. But if he's got it, if his roots are on the ground, he's okay. And he's showing me his heart of like, "Oh, God, I'm a little scared right now." But he's not collapsing in it. It's the collapse in it.
So, emotion being able to be emotional, but not basically not just completely falling apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dumping it on her, not
Yes.
completely
Okay.
falling apart and not dumping it on her. That's where it becomes the problem.
I guess that makes a little more sense. Yeah, because I listen again, I like I said, I listen very intently when people say things. I'm like, "Well, how the hell do we do that?"
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you want me to be emotional, but not too emotional?
Yes. And the too emotional is that collapsed. It's
Yes.
the cry because your suitcase didn't all go together right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I love him, like, please no disrespect, but it's that energy that
right,
I was like, "Wait, I don't really want you to put me up against the wall now." It's like it's I'm not as inspired.
right.
But if you open your
That makes
heart,
alright, that makes much more sense. If you drop your peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the floor and you get emotional about it, I can see where that is. Alright. I can definitely take stock in that one and, put that in my, toolbox, but again, I am I don't always want to be and again, I know that this is a learning process, but I don't always wanna have to be so overly aggressive, manly, like,
yeah.
you know, just sometimes it's very daunting to just never get a break from having to be the strong person in the house or
Yes.
be the strong person in everything.
Yes.
Sometimes, like I lost my in-laws a couple years ago, when everybody was crying, I just never cried because I'm the person that, is keeping the family together. I'm the person who, just never had an opportunity to come to terms with it. Almost lost a child back in 2003. And, they celebrate that every year, because she made it. And for me, it was the most horrific time in my life that, there are certain things about that other people didn't experience. And I just do not love anything about it. So I don't celebrate it, at all. And people are like, "Oh, you're so mean," and man, it's just for me, it it's crushed a piece of my heart that I just never want to re-experience.
Yeah, I might offer that that part of your heart that got crushed needs a little love.
Yeah, you know what? I would wholeheartedly agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. You know, it's just something that, we've never been able to fix. Me and my, ex, we've gone our separate ways. That is what it is. You you know, I mean, for me, I feel like, I love very intently. When I care about something, I love, I jump in the deep end of the pool. So I am the guy where I'll come home from work and, hey, you guys go outside. I'm the guy who's pinning you up against the wall.
Yeah,
But I'm not the guy that I don't want to go shopping with you. I will not hold your purse, you know, but I will carry everything that you have out of the car. You know, I'm the guy you call to lift heavy shit.
yeah,
I'm the guy that, if somebody says something to you that is disrespectful in any way, I'm the guy who's going to come outside and bite off somebody's ear. You know, if you need a minute, I will hug you till my arm falls off. But I'm not gonna, occasionally you will get me, in a mood where I'm gonna sit down, I watch a Lifetime movie with you and whatnot. But
well, yeah. I'm
it won't
loving
be
where
it
you're going.
it
I'm
won't be
loving where
every
you're
day.
going now.
It won't be every day.
Yeah,
Call me
totally.
whenever you need me. Okay. If you need me to knock something down, if you need me, well, I'm not a ask for permission kind of person. You know, I'm kicking the kids out of the house. If I'm in the moment and there's something I want, I'm kicking the kids out of the house. I don't care. I don't care if your parents are here. I really don't. You know, like
Yeah.
we're adults, and some people will hear that and be like, "You're just so disrespectful." Maybe I am. You know, I'm just
Maybe.
not. I'm just not your type of. I'm not your type of guy.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing I would love to point out based on what you just said, Michael, is you were saying a minute ago that there is a time when it's really hard to carry all of that weight and be the
Yes.
one that's got it all the time. And I'm totally with you. And I think it is that expectation on men that you always have it all the time that is causing many of the problems in our world right now.
Right.
So you don't have to have it all the time. And then go over here. So let's talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Then go over here and you don't want to watch Lifetime all the time, but once in a while, she wants that Lifetime. So she wants some of that
Yes.
softer side. And if you wanted to watch Lifetime movies all day long every weekend, she's probably not going to have the same attraction because it's
Okay.
going
All right. That was
right,
that was the thing. I'm like, oh,
right,
some of these guys do it. I just for me,
right.
not a chance. Not a
Right.
chance.
So that's not you. And every man has a different expression of these two
Right.
energies. But you're pointing it out is that if I use like the 80-20 concept,
Yes.
is that, okay, 80% of the time you've got it, you're on, I can handle it, all of that. But then 20% of the time of being able to say, you know what, I don't got it. You take over right now. I need you to make some of the decisions.
Yes.
I need and so she jumps into some of that masculine energy at certain times so that you're off, so you
Yes.
can collapse. And that's not the moment that is gonna be sexually attractive, but you can collapse if you need to, and a little bit of the time she can hold that. But if you ask a feminine person to do that all the time, you're gonna end up in the roommate zone repelling each other. And if you ask her to be on all the time and get shit done, she's gotten pushed into her masculine energy. And now you're masculine and she's masculine and you're repelling each other again.
Yes.
So there's these places to ebb and flow in it, but to still hold predominant, the predominant energies. And it's not exact or linear in, 80-20, but again, that's a concept of how to hold that.
There Man, there is just so much to unpack here. Holy shit. I'm like I'm learning a lot. And at the same time, there is just I have so many questions. I know the guys are like, I know my guy friends are going to ask me a ton of questions after this. Man, why do you ask her this? Why do you say, but I am, okay. So conversation, like I told you earlier, conversation is extremely important to me.
Mhm.
Okay. When most of the time when we first start dating and everything, we're not honest with each other, because we're auditioning. So I'm auditioning for this person to like me, and they're only seeing a portion of who I am, just the stuff that, gets me what I want, you know, instead of just
No
being
problem.
straightforward, you know. And so now, 2 years later, we're living together and we're finding out all these things about each other that, I did not know in the initial interview. And I think I've gotten myself in trouble because I'm probably a little bit too honest about, my expectations, the things that, I look for. When I was still out dating, I would, tell people, listen, we can't have a conversation. I don't really care what you look like naked. I just can't. And I've dated, some women in my lifetime, amazing people, but elevator stopping short of the top. And so that for me, I mean, listen, okay, look, that's a lie. That's a lie. In my younger years, even if we couldn't hold a great conversation, you know what? If there was an opportunity to have sex, I'm still doing that. You know, but the relationship couldn't go anywhere because, ultimately, those we can't talk, you know. So, and now I realize that, God, man, I'm a terrible, I feel like a terrible person because, hey, I can't deal with certain people if I can't have a conversation with them.
Yeah. And the whole sexuality curve and who will sleep with and when, like,
Yeah.
we get into that in our conscious sexuality retreat. There's, like, tons to talk about there, but if we stay with this idea of, you conversation is important and authenticity. Like, one of the biggest mistakes that those that are looking for relationships
Okay.
are or that they make is trying to be the one. Trying to be the one that they want is never going to create a sustainable relationship.
Ooh. Okay.
Never. Be you, the other person you be you be you. If there's connection, we might have something. But if I'm over here auditioning, performing, and you're over here auditioning and performing, we don't know who we're actually dating, who's in relationship. There's been this facade,
Yes.
and it shows up particularly when there's any level of insecurity or the anxious attachment, things like that, where it's like I'm trying to be the one. I'm trying to show you that I'm great, so you'll choose me.
Right.
No, I'm coming in. I want to find out, do I choose you?
Right.
And I'm being me. And if you choose me, great. Now, this takes a level of inner security because we have to go, okay, this is not, I'm not the one for them. Okay, great. Now I know we don't have to invest time in this.
Right.
So much time gets wasted and so many hearts get broken because we go in trying to be the one. Stop. Be yourself.
Right. And I don't think we know how to. Most
Well, that's part of the work.
that's a big thing right there is that we don't know how to just be our genuine selves. And a lot of times, like I said, we're auditioning and, hey, we find this person attractive, we find them interesting. And a lot of times men, hey, there's an end goal. But, so we're not who we actually are.
And that will never ever create a solid, sustainable relationship because we have to keep up that facade and we can't. This is also why couples end up not being in love anymore because all the performance and the facade and the auditioning falls away. And now you got the real person. And wait a second, we don't have what we thought we had.
Right. Okay. So I want to back away from this for a minute and I want to talk about ecstatic intimacy. Okay. Explain to us what that is.
Yeah. Ecstatic intimacy is so ecstatic. A lot of people get caught up on that word, and many people associate it directly with sex.
Yes.
However, ecstatic in my world is, I like to call it life and lovemaking. It's the breathtaking aspect. It is the I didn't know it could be this good. And so ecstatic intimacy is actually the middle of three different experiences that I take individuals and couples through. And the ecstatic intimacy is the heart to heart, body to body, soul to soul, masculine, feminine, dancing through conflict and reactions and all of that to still come into this extraordinary connection. But in order to have that relational dynamic, we have to be ourselves. So the first part of the journey is ecstatic authenticity.
Okay. Listen,
And
fellas.
then I'm happy being myself. I know that I'm more than enough and I know that I'm lovable. Well, now when I relate to you, I can actually be myself and show you my warts as much as my accomplishments. And then I can actually trust that you love me. But as long as I've got part of me hidden, I'll never actually fully trust that you love me.
All right. And see, now I will say with that, I know a lot of people hide things about themselves because, and it's primarily my female friends. "Well, I don't want to take my socks off around them. I think my feet look weird, or I've got this weird mole on my shoulder or something." And I can be honest with you. Most of us don't care about that shit.
Right.
You know,
Right. And so, this is it's whether it's body image pieces or whether it's, you know, past history or it's I've got a soft side that, I don't want, I do cry at, movies and, I don't want you to know that I cry at movies. Like whatever it
right?
is, male or female, that we want to hide or pretend we aren't, or pretend that we are, for that matter. We can't actually trust the foundation that relationship's being built on. But if I can let you see me in the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you still like me, and you let me see you in the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I still like you, we might have something.
Yes.
That's the invitation. So that's the secure relationship with self. That's the ecstatic authenticity that leads to the ecstatic intimacy. And when we marry those two, the being and the relating, the authenticity and the intimacy, we get ecstatic ecstasy,
Mm,
which
okay.
is the deep union.
I will not lie to you. That is much deeper than when I read it. I was like, yeah, I better ask her about that because maybe I'm just a pervert and I'm thinking about this the wrong way. No, sure.
Hey, it's life, love, and lovemaking,
Right.
all of
Okay.
it, that take your breath away. Not a few breathtaking moments, but
Oh,
that the
okay.
whole of life takes your breath away.
All right. So, all right, Joanna, let me ask you another question. Do you think women understand that like sex is or can be very emotional confirmation for men?
Yes, there's a lot of misunderstanding around sex for men about women and women about men.
Exactly.
Yes, but do I think that many women have experienced getting close to their man after sex? Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But they sometimes want to know, why can't I feel that closeness before sex?
We have to work. Men have to. I know we have to work harder because we will swim through a pool of alligators. Okay, in the beginning of a relationship.
Yes.
But then once we're in the relationship for a while, we will not do the same amount of work because and I will tell you, most of the guys that I talk to, they just expect it. Well,
Right.
why do I got to do all that?
Nope.
You
Doesn't work
know,
that way. Her body will never, if you were having great orgasms and great experiences, her
yes,
body was available, like turned on, lubricated, juiced,
yep.
aroused because of the things that you were doing. It's how the female body works. And to just say, just be turned on, you just want me because I'm your husband. No, no, that's not how this body works. Some women can get turned on. I'm not saying that's 100. Some can get turned on more quickly, but and I didn't say this, but I heard it years ago, and I talk about it all the time now. If we liken men and women to kitchen appliances, men are much more like the microwave.
Oh,
Turn, takes a couple minutes. It's hot, ready. If you want a hot, juicy, wet woman at night, You need to be turning her on starting in the morning
Right,
and all day long.
guys. So I don't mean I'm not saying she's not saying that you should be requesting pics all day. You should be
Yep.
being nice. So,
Yes.
being taking a minute, you know,
Yeah.
being complimentary, you know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it doesn't have to be sexual in nature, right?
Doesn't have to be sexual in nature. It's that special look in the eye when you kiss her goodbye to go to work.
Yes.
It's that just that sweet touch over dinner, hold her hand at dinner. It's the "You look beautiful." It's the call in the afternoon that says, "I'm thinking about you." It's the, "Hey, can I bring this? I know this is your favorite. Can I bring this home for dinner tonight?" See her.
Right. So doing even just for me, at least in my experience, doing things without being asked is huge.
Huge.
So, like, and again, I'm the resident chef in the house, so I cook daily, nightly. I cook every day. But food for me is like, I cook to impress. I cook to get to know, like, even with my kids, growing up, we cooked all the time, and that was when we talked. So I
Yep.
would learn everything about my kids
Yep.
through food.
Yep.
And that's food is kind of my love language. If I cook for you, and I mean I go out of my way, it's because I give a damn. If you get ramen noodles, yeah, not so much. Not so much.
Yeah.
Here, let me get this box of Captain Crunch for you. Yeah. That is definitely my love language. But it's also, and I know I got a lot of guys who are, if you tell me something hurts, but you're still trying to up being around doing things, you know, I am the guy, you know, who is going to tell you, sit your ass down. I got it. Okay.
Yes.
Take a break. I got it. Okay. Go get in I swear all the time. So, but I'm the guy who's been like, get the fuck out of my kitchen, go upstairs, get in the tub, relax for a little bit. I'll let you know when dinner's done. Or, hey, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
That, again, I attribute that to how my mom raised us to be, independent. But I
Yeah.
also, I watch a lot of things. I pay attention to, failed relationships. I pay attention to my friends' relationships,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So I'm like, whoop, not gonna do that. You know, take that off my list of, things to make sure I don't do.
Yep.
So
And when you do that, the woman has to have that capacity to receive. She has to go, I'm not weak because I'm letting him cook dinner or I'm sitting in the tub while he's doing something. Like that's her capacity to develop to
right.
receive. And she's had as much conditioning to not receive in many cases as men have had to not cry.
Yes.
So there's lots of pieces to this dance.
Listen, we're gonna have to have some more conversations because listen, I have got about 175,000 more questions that I need you to answer for me because this is like, I feel like we're really just scraping the surface of this, and wow.
Get
But okay,
excited.
when we finish this up, and I'm probably gonna air this episode early, I'm not gonna lie to you. Just fun. Listen, I don't want to say we're not dumb, but miss a lot of obvious signs. If a woman's not walking around with a blinking neon sign on her forehead, know that we totally miss a lot of things. And I know that, sometimes we genuinely try, but man,
Well, and what I know about men and what I love when men show up in the rooms when I'm facilitating or in our programs is
yeah,
when they show up here, they want it. And they're like, okay. And men are amazing. They will really jump in and go, okay, so there's this wake up. But until they really decide they want it, then it
right.
can be a little bit of a half assed. It's amazing when a man decides he really wants to get this.
Yes.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah. Listen, I need society to stop not allowing us to be our full selves, because again, like I said, I am 52 and I am just learning things about me that, hell, if I fucking known this 25, 30 years ago, I'd be a completely different person.
Yes.
Yeah, there would be some different relationships with my family, some
Yep.
different relationships even with my kids, you
Yep.
know, and it's just because, it's a failure to be able to express ourselves and feel safe doing it.
Absolutely. And safety is key for men and women.
Yeah, women, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure this out. I'm telling you, Joanna, listen, it has been an absolute pleasure. Here, listen, if we could do this again, I don't know, in a couple weeks, in a month, listen, I have got a drawer full of questions now and some more understanding. Um, shit, man. Like
This is
I'm floored, man, because again, like I always tell people, I love it when I come away from, a conversation with more understanding. That's one of the reasons why I love doing this now because, I'm learning so much. I'm learning about myself. I'm learning about, different ways to deal with certain things that these are tools that I didn't have a long time ago. So I'm hoping that in some way, somehow I can help somebody else, you know, and keep this thing moving. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's why I do this.
oh my
So
God,
I
listen, I will be following more of your work now. And, again, this was not just an interview for me. This was definitely an education, and I hope that more people take away from this. And, listen, I need you to send me all your contact information because I want when I post this story, when we do this, I'm going to send you parts of this interview. Do it as you will. Was I cannot express to you enough. We need this education. If we want to save our relationships, we want to save our marriages. Just oh my God! Listen, this is not an act. I am
I
extremely
know
excited.
that.
I am thrilled about this. So anything you want to leave us with?
Yeah. That when we actually get to be whole beings as men and as women, and whole beings being these beautiful, amazing, make a difference men that also have heart.
Let's go.
And the feminine, our women can be these beautiful, amazing beings and still have that potent strength underneath. And we can see the beauty in all of that. We can be whole in ourselves and then share it,
Mhm.
what we can create together.
Love it. Love it. Hey guys, listen, Miss Shakti. Hey guys, I got that name pronounced right again. Public school education. So, Joanne, Joanna, thank you so much. Okay, listen again. It's been an education. Please let's stay in touch. I've got some follow up. I'm going to reach out to you. So just so I can put all your information in all the posts, every video, all that. Guys, we need this. We seriously need this. Not just for the sexual part. Granted, that is a huge bonus. But for those of you guys complaining about your relationship, you need to learn this. You need to learn this. Again, Joanna, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. That's it for us, guys. Hey, have a blessed day. Everybody take care of yourselves and listen more intently to your significant other. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Bye bye.